Hello folks, this is Nirvash. Now, a lot of you have been messaging me trying to figure out, hey, how can I get StepF2 running on my cabinet? I want to play all these Japanese songs and stuff that's been removed from licensing and yada yada yada. So, I'm gonna make a video guide. Basically, I've got a basic little generic computer I picked up from a thrift store. Nothing fancy, nothing special. And the only thing that I've done to it, I upgraded the RAM and I tossed in a new graphics card. This is going to be the 8400 GS, standard in an Andamiro MK9. And the only reason I did that is because I would really like to just be able to get a fuller experience and be able to play official arcade mixes, StepF2, and everything that I want to without any types of problems. You know, I don't like having to switch all my stuff around. So let's go ahead and get this all connected and start setting everything up. A bit of a major thing I forgot to mention. Make sure all of your hardware is actually compatible with a Pump It Up mix if you plan to have it dual boot, you know, either Pump It Up games or, you know, StepF2, because that's kind of a big thing to consider. Now then, after copying all the files and getting everything ready, and spacing out for a while, it's finally time to test it. And as expected, we are missing some lovely files. d3dx9_35.dll. Let's go ahead and see what we can find on this. I suppose it would help if my keyboard was ready. Let's see. Now we don't want to trust anything silly like this, but I'm pretty sure this is a DirectX file. Let's see. And I was correct, DirectX. So let's go ahead and upgrade our DirectX and see what we can figure out after that. Oh. Distrust. New. Already have the net framework. Okay, finally done getting DirectX. Forgive me for the rather slow machine. Oh, brother. Path, downloads. This really doesn't matter. Okay, I take that back. This does matter greatly, and now I have to tolerate this. What a joke. Don't make the same mistake I did. Now, installing these components may take a while depending on the age of the machine that you decided to use, so let's utilize this time to make the computer more efficient for StepF2. Go ahead and lower that. Yeah, I like pump in its native settings. We're going to open up the NVIDIA control panel because I want to just lower the quality. I want to focus on optimizing performance out of this machine. I mean, it's pump it up, it doesn't matter. Cool. Alright, what are you doing there? Okay. I don't want any sounds coming out of the cabinet, so... Oh, it appears I cannot really do anything about this. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Not gonna mess with that. Now then. Where was it? It's somewhere in here. You don't really have to worry about 32-bit and all that shit. There we go. This is what we want to mess with. let's give it a test. Okay, well, I guess that doesn't matter. Now, we're going to edit the settings immediately. Full screen, 4:3. This should be much better. Still has a bit of a frame rate issue, but that could just be because I'm viewing it through a capture card. Okay. Ah yes, I don't have the channels in. Let's go ahead and jump on the new songs while we're at it. See how it performs. So far it seems to try to optimize that along the road. I'll play around with this a little bit. See how it works with DirectX. Go ahead and reboot the game and let's see how it runs. Remember, you're gonna have to play around with it a little bit and find out what your setup likes. Some computers could really like DirectX, some could really hate it. Yes, it definitely seems to have a much more crisp feel to it, at least on this screen. Transitions are smoother. Frame rate, there are no issues right now. Okay, we're off to an incredibly good start with the software. Now, this is a problem. Get Windows 10. I'm going to just... let's disable this. I don't like this crap. Okay? As you can see, it's trying to block where its process is located. But by navigating our process list here, we'll be able to identify it rather quickly. It's obviously this strange GWUX open file location. Monitor where that is and where that is. These two are the culprits that are causing this horrible upgrade to Windows 10 campaign. So what we're going to do, right click, go to Security, Advanced, Owner, change owner to, we're going to change it to StepF2. Yes. Now we're going to edit the security, and we're going to disable read and execute. It's basically going to be nothing but read. No executing or editing of this file allowed, especially by trusted installer. Okay, that is done. Now for this one. Now these programs work in tandem, so you have to disable them both, otherwise one will re-enable the other and so on. And we can't have that kind of stuff. Especially if we plan to be playing Pump It Up. The last thing we need is some shitty software trying to go through and interrupt our gameplay. Now then, with those disabled, we're going to go back to System32, and we're looking for something called slui.exe. that would be the system activation for Windows. There it is. Under normal circumstances, after 30 days, this would begin to pop up and overlay your computer and say, activate Windows now, 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 and constantly harass you. Now, I didn't assign a key to this version of Windows, so that is going to happen without a doubt. That is a fact. So I'm going to do the same thing to this application. We don't want that interfering with our gameplay or anything. Okay. Everything is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and reboot the computer. This should be no more. Actually, just to check, let's see. Okay, Windows can't seem to reopen the program anymore, so let's just go ahead and reboot and see how this looks. Okay, well, it seems that the computer has booted up successfully. There's no signs. Oh, lovely. More updates. Sometimes this sort of thing happens after you run some applications, install some new things. Okay, I'm just going to leave that at that. GeForce Experience can be quite the pain sometimes, because right when you think everything is done, it starts to update again. And this continues on for quite some time. Okay, well, while this updates, we're going to go ahead and go to the MK6 or MK9, whatever type you have, as long as it's not a 5 or a 3 or anything before a 6. You just have to have a 6 plus. And we're going to go ahead and remove the Jamma PCB and the PIUIO. Now, technically we should only need the PIUIO to communicate right now, but just for demonstration purposes, we're going to go ahead and include them both. Alright, so for this demonstration I'll be using just, normal PIUIO right here and Jamma PCB. I don't advise you do what I'm about to do. I'm using actually just a single Molex connector with a splitter. Overload the 12-volt rail. Numerous problems that you just don't want to put up with. Use two individual powers, or two individual Molex connectors if possible. This is a Molex connector. We need to take this. This is considered a USB motherboard connector. We need to find something that has... So we're going to look through here, and right away you're going to be able to see one right down there. Quickly realize that's not the hole that we want, the front USB, so remove that. What does that say? It says USB on it. Simple. So we remove that connector there, and we just line up the holes. Okay. And that is quite literally all there is to connecting a PIUIO to a standard PC. Aside from the drivers, which I will now go ahead and get to working on. Double checking all the connections. This is a USB extender. I'm only using it for this video. I don't advise you use it because it can add lag to your steps based on the length of the cable. Okay, I have successfully booted into Windows now. I do believe the USB device I disconnected was a frontal power, or a frontal audio, or that was always there and I just never noticed. Okay, now you see how it's trying to install driver software? We're going to interrupt that. Close. No. Cancel that. See if there's a way to stop that. I suppose it doesn't really matter if you stop it or not. Which one would it even be? Okay, good. Drivers were not successfully installed. That's what we want to see. Now, we're going to go to the Start menu, and we're going to type in Device Manager. Ah, yeah, that's startup lag. That's nice. Now, as you can see, there's the easy to USB FX2. This is good. We need to see this here. So, I'm going to right-click, Update Driver Software. Browse my computer for driver software. Yeah, let's just browse. Now, we're going to go to wherever you have currently copied your I/O to key folder. I have mine in C StepF2 I/O to key. I'm going to go there, tap OK, and then hit Next. Installing driver software. Install driver software anyway. This may take a little bit, depending on your system. Okay, we have successfully installed the PIUIO. Now then, we're going to go ahead and give it a test run. We can start this test run by navigating to the PIUIO I/O to key folder, and we're just gonna right-click Run as Administrator. Now this is not going to appear unless you have power going correctly to the PIUIO. You cannot install this without having the PIUIO connected with power. As you can see, it is successfully showing this, so there is a connection established to the PIUIO. Here are the test buttons for the Jamma PCB. We're going to just... and there you go. You see we're getting responses with every press, which means that the PIUIO has been successfully installed in Windows 7. Now that the I/O is confirmed to be working, yes, this will appear. We can go ahead and close it. We don't have to do anything else at the moment. Well, except a few things. We're going to want to make sure that the computer is going to operate just how we want it to while we're playing. So, where was it? System and Security, Power Options. Okay, we're going to change these plans. We don't want the display ever to turn off. We don't want the computer ever to go to sleep. Hard disk, we do not want that turning off ever. Let's see. Sleep. No. Never. Never. Okay. No USB suspending. Power lid. Yes, I suppose. Power down. PCI Express. No. No power saving. Processor. Yes, we want cooling active. Turn off display. We do not want that. We don't want that at all. Okay. We're just going to apply that. Now that setting is taken care of. Okay. We're going to type in CMD, right-click, Run as Administrator. Now, we're going to type in BCDEDIT space/set. We're going to put in current, and then boot status policy space ignore all failures. There. Now when you power down by just unplugging the machine, it's no longer going to go to that Windows. Okay, Shell F2 is just a simple... We're going to right-click and click Edit. Now, this is going to be rather simple. We're going to type @ECHO space off. Now, we're going to type CD, which is change directory, and for the first one, I suppose we can have it be I/O to key. Yeah, why not? And it's going to be start IO to key.exe. And we're going to repeat the same thing for StepF2. CD, StepF2, start. Oh my gosh. I can't type right now. It's like fucking 1 in the morning, and I've had to rewrite this a million times. Okay. See, originally I was going to include a nice little application that would do all this for you, but fuck that. No, I don't want to deal with it. Anyways, this is basically going to load IO to key, and it's going to load StepF2 in place of Explorer. Very simple. Now, we're going to go to the Start menu, and we're going to type in REGEDIT. This is your registry editor. You do not want to fuck around with this, because it can ruin your computer. Well, the software anyway. Now we're going to go to HKey Local Machine, Software. We're going to go to Microsoft. We're going to go way, way, way down. Windows NT, current version, and then way, way, way down again to WinLogon. Now, right here it says shell and it says explorer.exe. We're going to modify that string. We're going to replace it with shell F2. Copy the URL. Now we're going to do this in quotation marks, because by default directory it's going to try to look in System32 for Explorer. Now then, we have to get this directory perfect, otherwise we're going to have to go through slightly strenuous recovery process. Now, see that? Perfect. Oh, haha, almost perfect. Now it's perfect. There, we check the OK box, hit close, close. Now we're going to just go to log out. That's going to unload Explorer, and it's going to return you to your main screen here for users. Now we're going to click on StepF2, and this should load the bash action file, and there you are. As you can see, it is running absolutely perfectly. It's loading as expected. Gonna hit Control-Alt-Delete to go ahead and interrupt StepF2 so I can demonstrate IO to key is running. Everything is running just fine. And let's go ahead and get this put in the cabinet. Okay, for our next step, this is going to be an optional one. We're going to make... As you can see, I've made a few in the past. Here's an MK9 right here. Here's another StepF2 computer. MK6 I still haven't made a frame for. Here's what we need. We need pegboard. Zip ties. Well, not really necessary, but Gorilla Glue. I just don't think that's thick enough. Cut little sheets to this exact size so they can fit in any standard arcade cabinet or my minicade downstairs. We're going to be going with the standard size of the bottom tray of an Andamiro MK computer, which is 22 by 14.5 inches. So, I'm going to mark a line here at 22. Just keep on going down it, right at the 22-inch mark. Okay, there's the 14.5 marker. Now we're done marking off the areas for our cuts. Everything with a line through it is what I'm going to be not using. Now these match up really well. The holes all overlap really just how I need them to. But we've got some slight overhang, so I'm going to take a couple of zip ties just to secure this down a little, and then go out and trim off that little edge there. Once you're done taking care of all of your corners, getting it really nice and straight, we're going to cut all these. Gently pull this back. Now you don't need much, but you do need it to be all over. See, that's way too much there. So we're just going to take this and slowly go along here. With our little design complete, we're just gonna do a little bit of dabs here and there. Okay, that's not really a dab like I was going for. Cap sealed. Toilet paper. Whee! Oh no! Now we're just gonna fold this back over just how it was. Get that glue nice and sandwiched in there. Zip ties again. Now with all of the zip ties set, you're gonna want to make sure that you push and move this around a little bit. Just try to get all these holes aligned real quick. An alternate method to do this is a screwdriver. That'll line up the holes really quickly for you. Okay, everything seems to be perfect. We have a 2-layer piece right here. And let's just go ahead and wait for it to dry. Time to take all of the crap out of the computer. With the computer now gutted, we're gonna lay everything out on the pegboard and try to figure out where we want to place everything. This is generally what I do, but I never secure the Jamma PCB or the PIUIO because I'm always moving them around. With the power supply now secured, we can go ahead and start putting on the motherboard. First, you're gonna want to connect the main power source to it. And you're going to want to quickly realize that you don't have enough for powering your CPU. Oh no. So, I made that mistake. Hopefully you won't do the same thing, so now I have to wait until I can get an extension for that before I can power on this motherboard. Okay, start reconnecting everything with zip ties. Make sure it won't fly around everywhere. Reconnect your hard drive, get your motherboard all ready. Get your PIUIO, your Jamma PCB, and once it's all together, all you have to do is hook it up to your cabinet. You just need to make sure of one thing. Make sure that your voltage here is set to either 115 or 230 based on what your cabinet has in its power supply. You can actually check your original MK, and it should be set to either 115 or 230, and you can just go off of that. Otherwise, you can power it externally based on your country's power supply. And then, there you go. That's pretty much all there is to it. After that, you'll have whatever you want running in your cabinet. Here's the previous one that I worked on. Now, here's something else I did with that. I took a case fan, and I hooked it up, you know, like a normal case fan you would be done. But then I zip-tied it here to the VGA app, and it just gives it that little extra cooling that you might need in case crazy marathon going on, an anime convention, anything. That's about all there is to this. It's really simple to do. I just decided to go ahead and buy the cable. Wa-ta-ta! Wa-ta-ta! Wah!
And now entering completely darkness. Don't need to prepare for it. You just need to die. Welcome as your experience. Searching for your souls. We are playing to die.
I need to get back in shape, cause fuck this game. Yeah, everything is good. Everything works. It's all awesome. And thank you for watching. Hope this helps you out and helps your friends enjoy Pump It Up a little bit more. Bye-bye.